Hey guys, Dr. Decks here. Welcome to our new job site in Tacoma, Washington. Thank you for coming and watching this channel. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you get into this video. All right, and what we're talking about today is the fact that when you pull a building permit, there's certain things you have to do to pass an inspection. And the first thing you gotta do is you gotta have a plan. So when you go to build something professionally, as a builder like I am, and you're building something that's over 30 inches off the ground, we have to have a building permit to do that. And you have to let the building department of your local jurisdiction know a lot of different things to make sure that you're building this deck properly. So we're gonna go over a list of things that you need to know so that you can build your deck to code, and you might have to do a little research for your local area or your local jurisdiction. So the things I share with you today may or may not work in your area, but that's part of knowledge of building a deck, is knowing what you can and can't do. Now, most of your local building departments will help you figure that out. Sometimes they won't, and you'll have to do some research on your own or hire a professional like a structural engineer to help you calculate and figure out those things that you need to get the deck built. All right, so with that being said, first thing I have to do is when I build a deck is I have to do a plot plan. So usually my plot plan will have the house drawn to scale, have all the lot lines, which way is north, the driveway, the main roads coming across, and then the size of the deck and the dimensions and all that. So now this has all been sent to my engineer. My engineer looks at all this stuff and he double checks all my notes and all my markings, and then he will approve or disapprove of it, and then I might have to make an amendment to my plan, send it back to him for his stamp. That's what this is down here in the corner. On each page, there's a stamp from my engineer. He's licensed and has the ability to be able to do that on my plans. So this is page 2. This page is my framing detail, my plan view. It's to scale. It shows the widths and the dimensions of the side of the house. And then it also has a lot of different information in here of what I'm using. For each deck that we build, we have to put special brackets in. Simpson Strong Tie DTT1Zs go in a certain location. Those go in to help lateral load so that the deck can't pull away from the house in a seismic event like an earthquake. So we have to have 4 of those on a deck this size. Then there's all the sizing of the materials. If we're spanning 16 feet, we gotta bring our joists together. We have to put them 12 inches on center, and we have to be able to span them. To get that a 16-foot span, we have to use a 2x12. So this is a really large frame deck. It's a heavy deck, but we're gonna beef it up as well to make it fit those dimensions and those spans, okay? So it says right here what my calling out is. So all this right here is what I'm calling out for the dimensions on the deck. Joist to be 2x12 pressure treated, number 2 and better, 12 inches on center. So that's my prescriptive description that I have to build to that. That's what my engineer says is okay to use. That's how I have to build my deck. I have to build the joist 12 inches on center to be able to span. It's gonna span 15 foot 6 inches because the beam is 6 inches thick. It's a 5.5 by, well, it's in here, a glue lamp, 5.5 by 18 inches. It's gonna be spanning 24 feet. I'm gonna have a 3-foot cantilever on this side, the beam spanning 24 feet, so it's a 27-foot beam, which is extremely heavy and extremely big, but we're gonna use a manual cranker to lift it up and put it into place. But because of that, we only have 3 posts that we have to do for this deck. Posts will be 6x6, pressure treated. They'll be secured to the beam with this bracket here. I have to describe that. Footings will be my MassCore M2 helical piles with 4,750 foot-pounds of installation torque and a minimum embedment of 4 feet deep. So I do helical piles because that is something that we've been doing a lot more of. If I didn't do helical piles on this deck, I would have to dig a 3-foot by 3-foot by 2-foot deep hole and pour 2 to 3 yards of concrete, plus put rebar in it. And all that can be eliminated with a helical pile. So I have a machine, we have pressure gauges that we use to record that, and then we also have a special inspections form that we fill out, and we have a special inspection here, a witness to witness the pressures, a representative from my engineer, and then he witnesses the pile pressure. We only have to do 3 piles on this particular deck. So this is the front view. I do a lot of my stuff in color. I think it helps showcase the deck a little bit better than everything in black and white. Some of the stuff that I've called out for on this is repeat the helical piles. I repeat them on different pages just to make sure that the plans checkers understand. But here's the glue lam right here going through. There's our 6x6 posts. There's that 24-foot span right here that you can kind of see. And our positive connection from post to beam is right here, showing all this stuff. And then we talk a little bit about our rail system and how that works. You gotta make sure that you describe your railing and maybe include the engineering packet for that as well. If you don't, the building department may call out to you and say, hey, okay, we understand you wanna use this type of railing, but we need the engineering for it or the proof that it's gonna withstand 200 pounds of force when you push on it, that it meets our local building code for different reasons, for elevation, height, spacing. You gotta make sure you don't have more than a 4-inch gap anywhere on your rail system. Then we get into a side view. So this is a little bit simpler, but basically it just shows the deck from the side. Again, talking about the helical piles or posts, our glue lam beam, the joist span, how we're connecting it, the type of railing. And then there's a side note that the city put in here for us to read. I'm not exactly sure what that says, but they're gonna add their 2 cents into things to make sure that we understand, and we'll also make sure that those parts are executed in our design. This talks about uncovered decks. So we're not putting a cover on this deck, so no big deal. So then here's a flashing detail. It kind of shows the blocking support that we're gonna have for our Regal Ideas. It goes back over and talks about the glue lam beam, the 6x6 posts. Here's our helical piles. This is more of a black and white drawing. There's a little bit of color in it. It's pretty generic. I just modify these as I need to, but it has all the information of the flashing details, the DTT1Zs, all that stuff, the blocking for the posts, like I said before, all that, what kind of ledger, the size of our ledger boards. So this is all stuff you have to have if in a plan when you're building a deck. And then one more, this is a house attachment detail. This is something a little bit newer that we've been having to do. It has to describe how we're attaching the ledger to the house, how far apart our ledger attachments are. We're using, what type of ledger attachments are we using? We're using 3.5-inch ledger lock fasteners, staggered maximum 5 inches on center. So I have to have a fastener every 5 inches on my ledger staggered high and low. Now normally we don't have to have that many, but because it's a 2x12 joist, it's spanning 15'6" to the beam, we require more of them. Again, that's probably not on any kind of a chart that Fasten Master will provide you. This is special that you need to know from your structural engineer. I didn't know I needed them every 5 inches. I called out for every 8 inches, and he got back to me and he said, no, that's not gonna work. You need to put them every 5 inches, and you gotta stagger them accordingly. So we did that, and then he stamped it. So there you go, guys. I hope that helps somebody out there. I do get a lot of messages, comments, DMs, emails. Usually our webpage is designed for our local clients and customers, but lately we've been getting a lot, I mean a lot, of people asking for information. So instead of clogging up our emails, please check me out on Instagram on Sunday, and I answer questions there. Leave a question below, a comment, and I'll try to get back to you in a timely fashion. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to click that subscribe button if you found this information useful, and I hope it helps somebody out there. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.